Ready for story? Extraordinary Chester. One day, Chester was banging on pots and pans in the kitchen. "I want to cook," he demanded. "You can help by making that music a bit more quietly," his mother replied. "No," Chester said. His mother sighed and stirred her sauce. "Well, you do make extraordinary noises." "Where's Wolfer?" "You see the dog?" "Oh, you got him." Suddenly, Chester felt strange. He had a funny itch on the top of his head. Wolfer sniffed Chester's head. Chester had grown horns. Chester kicked Wolfer outside and slammed the door. "Go away," he shouted. Chester felt stranger. His arms had turned purple and yellow. Chester was amazed. "Time to clean up for dinner," Chester's mother called. "No, I want a cookie." "It's too close to dinner, Chester." "Oh, is that Wolfer?" Chester stamped his foot. "I want one now." "You certainly do speak up for yourself, Chester. That's extraordinary." See Wolfer on this page? Oh, you found him. What does Wolfer say? What's the dog say? Yeah. Chester felt stranger. He felt so hot he pulled off his shirt. It was purple and yellow all over. Chester was astonished. You see Wolfer? Chester stomped into the living room where his father sat reading the paper. "Good work, you found him." He turned on the TV as loud as he could. "Chester, will you please turn down the TV?" his father said. His father asked. "No!" Chester shouted. "You know what you want, don't you, Chester? That's extraordinary for a boy your age." "Dad, I want to make an airplane out of your newspaper," Chester demanded. "Can't you wait until I finish reading it?" "No!" Chester yelled. His father sighed. "You are extraordinary, Chester." Yeah. Chester felt stranger. He looked down. His feet had grown hair, and his toenails curled under like claws. Now Chester was worried. Look, his toenails are like claws. Chester felt stranger. His hands were covered with hair, and his fingernails turned into claws too. He was so scared he screamed. "What an extraordinary sound," his father said. Chester felt even stranger. He did not know what was happening. He looked over his shoulder. A tail had popped out. He grabbed it in his claws. Chester ran to his room. His claws caught in the rug and he fell. Chester pulled himself up. What he saw in the mirror made him shiver and shake. Look. Chester's a monster. "Dinner," called Chester's mother from the kitchen. Chester tried to answer, but all that came out was a roar. Look, it was a lion's egg. Look, that's what Chester says. He ran for help. "Eek!" Chester's mother screamed. "A monster! Herbert, come quick!" Chester's father rushed into the kitchen. "How did that thing get in here? Where's Chester?" "Get out!" shouted Chester's father. He threw open the door and kicked the monster outside. Chester landed in a snowbank. Wolfer sniffed Chester, then licked his face. Chester petted Wolfer. "Good dog," he said. Chester was surprised to hear a voice instead of a roar. "Good old Wolfer, I'm sorry I kicked you." Wolfer nuzzled Chester. When Chester looked down, he saw 10 red toes on the ends of his cold feet. His claws had disappeared. See his toes? Where's Chester's toes? Yeah, look at those 10 toes. There's 10 of them. You want to count them? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 toes. "Look, Wolfer, I'm turning back into me," Chester explained. He reached up to feel his horns. They had disappeared too. Chester looked behind him. He still had a tail. He pulled at it. He tugged on it. It wouldn't budge. Will I always have a tail, Woofer? Chester asked sadly. Woofer wagged his tail. I hope Mom and Dad will let me back in the house, said Chester. Where's Woofer? You see Woofer? Oh, yeah. As Chester hopped back towards the house, he noticed the tail. That's a snowman. Notice this tail. Alright, hold on. Notice the path his tail made through the snow. It gave him an idea. Using his tail, Chester swept all the snow. Are you smiling? Swept all the snow from the sidewalk. Chester smiled. Catie, can you smile? Catie smiles. He hurried to the door and rang the bell. His father opened the door. Where have you been, Chester? What happened to you? There was a monster in... He stopped when he saw the clean sidewalk. Chester, did you do that? Did you clear away all that snow? You really are extraordinary. No, I'm not extraordinary, Chester said, as his tail disappeared. I'm just plain Chester. The end. You see Woofer? You see Woofer? The little tiny doggy over there? The end. Your grandma wrote that book. Jima. Say thank you, Jima.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you, Jima.